Hey everybody, this is Dan McLaughlin. I'm just going to be reading to you from our, what we say in the teacher business, our prompt. And it's called The Coronavirus Infodemic, sort of a play on words of information and epidemic or pandemic. How the coronavirus sparked a tsunami of misinformation. Here's everything you need to know. The source, theweek.com, May 17th, 2020. By the way, don't worry about the white hat. It's just for show. Like maybe, I just realized I kind of look like Santa Claus a little bit. Anyway, I'm going to read this as if I were reading it to you in class. I might make some mistakes. I'm not a perfect announcer, just letting you know. But here we go. Again, the coronavirus infodemic. What's being said? Social media has been awash in lies, rumors, and distortions about the coronavirus, its origins, and potential cures almost since the pandemic's start. NewsGuard, a private company that rates websites' reliability, has identified 203 websites throughout the world promoting COVID 19 misinformation. Among the most popular COVID 19 myths were garlic can cure COVID 19. A group funded by Bill Gates patented the coronavirus, and the COVID 19 virus is a man made bioweapon. The World Health Organization is calling the deluge of misinformation an infodemic, while Google, Facebook, and Twitter are instituting policies to help slow the spread of lies. CEO Mark Zuckerberg's Facebook fact checkers have taken down hundreds of thousands of pieces of misinformation and slapped warnings on 40 million posts during March alone, the company says. Last week, YouTube removed a video titled Plandemic that had been viewed millions of times, featuring discredited microbiologist and anti-vaxxer Judy Mikovits. In the video, and a book that reached #1 on Amazon, Mikovits contends the coronavirus was created and spread by a conspiracy of wealthy people and scientists such as Dr. Anthony Fauci, head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, to bolster vaccine rates and to make money. Mikovits has been claiming her career was destroyed by Fauci and other scientists since she falsely reported a 209 study, later retracted by the journal that published it, that a retrovirus caused chronic fatigue syndrome. What's the motive? For some, profit. For others, attention. Conspiracy theorist Alex Jones and his InfoWars website have warned their audience that the coronavirus is a man-made tool to winnow the world's population. InfoWars was ordered by the FDA and the FTC last month to stop peddling such products such as Super Silver Whitening Toothpaste and Super Blue Silver Immune Gargle that Jones portrayed as coronavirus cures and prophylactics. He and many other websites popular on Facebook are hawking colloidal silver as a cure for the coronavirus. Taken in large doses, it turns your skin blue. The idea that there is a magical treatment that has promoted by President Trump, who suggested that UV light and disinfectant could be used to kill the virus inside the lungs, almost like a cleaning. He also spent weeks promoting an anti-malarial drug, hydroxychloroquine. Wow, check out that word. That is a long word. Hydroxychloroquine, as one of the biggest game changers in the history of medicine. That led to a huge spike in sales of the drug and to state governments stockpiling 30 million doses of it. Several studies have subsequently found that hydroxychloroquine has no benefit for COVID 19 patients and can cause life threatening heart arrhythmias. Wow, that's a word we didn't have. You might ask why only 20 words. I guess we just felt that's as many as the brain can handle at one time for a while, you know? But there's plenty of words that we didn't put in. This is a pretty hard reading, yeah? Arrhythmias. Try spelling that. Okay, moving on. All right. Why so much disinformation? Stanford University professor Robert N. Proctor says humanity has always been susceptible to misinformation during a time of great fear, from the burning of witches on up to hydroxychloroquine. Conspiracy theories, he says, make powerless people feel they have some inside knowledge and thus some control over frightening events. Misinformation also spread easily during prior health scares, including the Spanish flu outbreak of 1918, the AIDS epidemic, and SARS in 2003. The fact that there is so little known about the coronavirus also fuels the lies and the rumors. It's frustrating when people, it's frustrating when responsible media say, "Look, we don't know the answers yet," said Carl T. Bergstrom, an evolutionary biologist at the University of Washington who studies misinformation. What are state actors doing? What's a state actor? I guess we'll find out. The State Department has warned that Iran, China, and Russia are using the coronavirus propaganda to damage the U.S. and distract their own populations from their poor official response. A Russian state TV network, for example, falsely reported that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation created the coronavirus in conjunction with pharmaceutical companies to profit off therapies. Both Russian and Iranian state sources have claimed the virus is a U.S. created bioweapon, and that the state run China Global Television Network says the pandemic was started by Americans who went to Wuhan, China for a military athletic competition in October. And then they just thought they'd throw in this. What's the 5G theory? One of the most popular conspiracy theories holds that the pandemic was actually caused by radio waves from that new mobile technology, noting that it was deployed in Wuhan shortly before the outbreak. In Britain, arsonists torched at least 20 cell phone towers, and engineers have been harassed. In one clip, viewed more than 2 million times, a British woman asks telecom engineers why they are laying what she believes to be 5G cables, saying the cables are going to kill everyone. In her video, book, and tweets, Mikovits promotes even more bizarre ideas, including that sheltering in place, washing your hands, and wearing a mask can increase your likelihood of getting COVID 19. These protective measures, she says, are literally killing people. In the scientific community, Mikovits is known as a quack who was fired from a research institute and arrested for stealing equipment. But in the social media era, Renee DiResta, who studies disinformation at the Stanford Internet Observatory, what millions of people believe is essentially determined by whoever runs the best marketing campaign. And we have the myth of patient zero. This is an interesting name to pronounce. Maatje Benassi has become a poster case for the coronavirus conspiracy theories and the havoc that they can wreak. In October, the U.S. Army reservist and mother of two competed in the world. I'm sorry. Let me start that over again. In October, the U.S. Army reservist and mother of two competed in the Military World Games, an Olympic style event held in Wuhan, China. During the final lap of the cycling competition, Benassi fell and suffered a concussion, although she got up and finished her race. Over ensuing months, the Chinese government and the Chinese social media promulgated the unfounded theory that Americans competing in the games had created the virus in a lab and smuggled it to the country through Benassi, calling her Patient Zero. Benassi says she's never had COVID-19. The narrative was co-opted by American conspiracy theorist George Webb, who spread it across YouTube. Benassi has since been flooded with death threats and seen her home address published online. It's like waking up from a bad dream and going into a nightmare day after day, she said. Every time you're going to Google my name, it'll pop up. Patient Zero. I should have said this a little bit of a disclaimer at the beginning. Just letting you know, this is not necessarily the opinion of Roosevelt High School nor our teachers, and we're not necessarily trying to make you believe it. We're giving it to you as a sample prompt that hopefully you can make sense of. It's a pretty difficult prompt, I'm going to say, right? A little bit difficult. But again, some of these ideas you're talking about, I don't know, maybe you have relatives or parents, or maybe yourselves might believe it. We're not trying to get you to believe one way or the other, but we're trying to give you samples of information that is interesting and that could transcribe to a prompt. Woo, prompts. Yes. All right. See you guys later.